Hey guys, how are you all doing? Welcome to my channel. So, today we are gonna see, what if Naruto lives in a female village, part 1. So before we start, go check out the author of this fanfic, JREAPS24, subscribe if you enjoy the video, let's start the story. Naruto-sama, a few Odo nins, have entered our village. What do you want us to do? Naruto rubbed his forehead in annoyance, as to what the team wanted from his village. The words his village still sound odd to him, no matter how many times he heard or said it. He once dreamed to become Hokage of his village, but that dream died when he was banished for failing to retrieve Sasuke Uchiha, plus the usage of Kyuubi's chakra against said Uchiha. Seeing as he was being banished, he snuck into the Hokage's towers and stole a few scrolls that actually turned out to be scrolls that were supposed to be given to him once he reached 18 years old. The scrolls contained knowledge on his family's clan being the Uzumaki and Namika's clan, allowing him to get stronger. The shadow clones helped in achieving so much with less time it would have originally taken. Naruto traveled from place to place until he encountered a girl by the name of Shizuka, a kunoichi of Nashiko. She attacked him stating that he was worthy, though he didn't know what she was talking about at the time until he won the fight. After a few minutes of speaking to her attendant Takiwa, he agreed to marry Shizuka, who was the princess of their village. Naruto became the prince of the village at the age of 15. Naruto stood up from his seat and dropped his cloak on the floor, revealing his clothes. Gone was his orange jumpsuit in place of black combat pants, black long-sleeve shirt, black light shoes, and a black headband with a village symbol on it. So you're heading off to fight Naruto-kun despite having ninjas to do that. Naruto turned to the voice to find his wife Shizuka standing at the doorway with an amused look. Shizuka is a fair-skinned girl of average height who sports a noticeably curvaceous frame and large bust. She has green eyes and waist-length black hair in a Heim style tied in a high ponytail with short bangs and chin-length strands framing her face. She wore the common Nashiko kunoichi uniform, which is a gray-colored set with a right shoulder armor, gray gloves, and an opening in her shirt which reveals her cleavage. She has a black forehead protector. I want to play around with their memories so they leave without any knowledge of this village. The last thing we need is for attention from Orochimaru, my spoiled ex-teammate. He's probably looking for some girl to impregnate, and strong ones at that. He'll use you guys until he no longer requires you. When that time comes he'll kill you just like he did the others. Trust me when I say he's rotten to the core. He cited how annoying Odo has been over the years. So this maniac used to be your friend. She giggled when Naruto sent her a mild glare. She went to blow a kiss towards him, and before she knew it, his lips were sealed with hers. She allowed herself to melt in his kiss as his hands roamed her body. Naruto soon broke the kiss, then vanished using his. She was shocked to see someone with such a strong, plus she was married to said person. I hope you realized he took your rope, Shizuka-san. She reached for said rope to find that he did indeed steal her rope. She turned around to find her best friend Takiwa with a smile on her face. So what have you been up to lately, Shizuka-san, while I was away? Surely you haven't gotten pregnant yet, have you? Shizuka's face turned red at the mention of babies. No, we haven't done that yet, Shizuka-san, plus we're only 16 years old. We do have plans to have children one day though, and I was thinking about the name Kushina if it's a girl and Minato if it's a boy. He told me that Minato and Kushina were his parents' names. If we manage to get twins then we'll decide based on what gender they are. Hopefully we get at least one boy so we can have another Naruto-kun. It's nice to see you, Takiwa-san. How was your mission? It went fine, Naruto-san. What were you doing away from your throne? Surely you didn't go out to fight. There was amusement in her voice. Well, I wouldn't consider it a fight considering how fast they went down. I sent them back to Orochimaru with fake memories of visiting a village filled with civilians. Odo won't come back here again for future slaves or experiments anytime soon. Takiwa sighed in relief that the annoyance was over. Oh, I almost forgot about the new males entering the village hoping to marry one of our kunoichi. We want you to look through them for potential and hidden motives. Very well, lead me to them and I will take out those who aren't worthy. I still don't know how I will end up with this job. Takiwa giggled at his facial expression. Well, you ended up with a job when you prevented one of our kunoichi from being used as a breeding stock. You are to blame for that as well, considering you were the one that came up with the idea of giving the shinobi of this village your special chakra. To think you were able to pass on parts of the Uzumaki to this small village is a blessing to us. It is the very reason why everyone looks at you with such respect. Everyone holds you at the highest level here. You made the women here so much stronger than they were before. That was another reason they chose you to pick the males they would marry. You will be able to tell if he has potential and any dark motives towards our ninjas, plus you're the only guy in this village. Nashiko was a small village with approximately 90 female kunoichi and 1 male. Its shops, stores, and everything else were run by female nins. Now normally a village with that less people would be easy to dominate, but Naruto's seals plus his new summoning contract made this village one of the strongest and most hidden places ever, making its strength and defense unknown to everyone, as they did over the years. They were able to strive off the incomes Naruto created through a business that spread across the world. He made enough money to support 4 of their villages plus more. When they did take on missions, they were very secretive about it. No one would know it was them taking on a village at all. The training material they were able to access helped them greatly as well. Since they had the Uzumaki chakra flowing through them, they were able to use many of the Uzumaki. Another fact about Nashiko was the fact that the only nins there were all related somewhere down the line. They didn't allow any pregnancy outside the village at all to keep adding to their numbers. As to the lack of males, let's just say their opinions of girls being sex toys changed permanently as they took a permanent rest. The males had been killed one way or another for the way they treat women. A few actually were caught abusing one of their nins and his wife. They immediately killed him and tossed his body out of the village. Naruto, Takiwa and Shizuka entered the chambers to find several males lined up, around 20 of them. He walked past each guy with keen eyes. By the time he reached the front of the line, he shook his head in disappointment. None of them are worthy of marrying my nins. The guys in line all drew can eyes from hidden areas and glared at the guy in front of them. Then we'll just have to take them by force to be our sex toys, right guys? The others agreed with them as they stood up to fight. The female nins all drew their swords, preparing themselves to fight. Naruto moved slightly, then sealed a bloody kunai away. The others watched in fascination as their heads slid from their bodies at the same time. They turned towards Naruto to find him frowning at the bodies in front of him. I guess we'll have to search for more guys again. He pinched the bridge of his nose in annoyance while grumbling about an impossible mission. Well, good luck finding them, unless he was interrupted when one of his nins entered the building and bowed her head. I'm sorry Naruto-sama, but there is a man by the name of Jiraiya that wishes to speak to you. He says it's very urgent that he speaks with you. Let him in. All eyes blinked when they noticed he had his black cloak and mask on. They were wondering how he managed to put on his cloak and mask so quickly, but then again he was considered the fastest and strongest man in the village, along with the only man in the village. The girl turned around and retrieved the Sannin, who had a perverted grin on his face. Jiraiya smiled at each woman as his eyes trailed up and down their bodies. A forced cough brought him out of his staring sessions. He noticed he was the only male he saw in the village so far, but didn't say anything about it to avoid complications and such. Hello sir, my name is Jiraiya of Konohagakure, and I have traveled here to set up an alliance between this village and Konoha. Konoha is currently in a war against Odo, Kumo, and Iwa right now, and needs all the allies we could get. Right now our allies consist of Sunagakure, Takigakure, and Hashigakure. Konoha would like to discuss the details in which the alliance includes back in their village. How does that sound? What do I call you by the way sir? He didn't want to offend the leader in any way. You may call me by my bingo book name Flashmaster. Jiraiya's eyes went wide at the revelation of the leader of Nashiko being the Flashmaster Konoha was searching for. There were rumors that he was as fast as Minato, while others were saying he was faster than Minato. They claimed he moved so fast that fire was produced around his body, though it was never proven. The rumor that caused the most stir amongst various countries was that the Flashmaster was Minato Namikaze himself. The fact remained that no one knew who this person was. At least he knew where the Flashmaster was, so they didn't have to go around searching for him. Getting Nashiko to be their allies just became a bigger priority than it was. With the Flashmaster on their side, they would be able to end the war. Well Flashmaster, what do you say with Konoha's offer? Naruto leaned over to his wife and the two engaged in a silent conversation. Takiwa engaged in the silent conversation as well, making the Toad Sage nervous. They separated once they had an agreement. I will go to Konoha to see along with my wife and her friend to see what Konoha has to offer. While I'm away, please tell any of your nins to stay out or they will die instantly. I will raise our defense to eliminate anyone not part of this village, and trust me when I say we will know if you're a part of this village or not. Now lead the way Jiraiya-san. Go back to what you were doing while I'm off to meet the Hokage. I'll be back as soon as I can. He motioned Jiraiya to lead the way. Jiraiya turned into the direction of Konoha with anticipation towards the council meeting he avoided so much. He was glad that he still had a pass and that he wasn't the Hokage of a village. Jiraiya moved at top speeds while taking glances back at his guests. If he was moving too fast then he would slow down for them, but that wasn't the case at all. They were right behind him no matter what speed he was going without showing signs of fatigue. They didn't even seem bothered by the speed he was going, which was good. He needed to get them to Konoha immediately after all, in hopes of ending the war quickly before it became too chaotic. The group continued traveling to Konoha at high speed, with no plans of taking a break. Naruto decided to travel normally to keep his teleportation a secret until he had to use it. He still didn't trust Konoha after his banishment. The group arrived in Konoha in 8 hours, moving at extreme speeds. Jiraiya was tired by now, while the others ranged from a little tired to not tired at all. This shocked Jiraiya considering how long they were traveling for. He allowed his energy to slowly return, then lead his guests to the chamber room. He was sure they alerted the council members of their arrival and gathered everyone to the room by now. Naruto followed Jiraiya, taking note of the amount stationed around the village. His entire body was tense, causing his wife and her friend to tense as well. Only Jiraiya was relaxed as they journeyed to the room Naruto remembered as the place he was told of his banishment. Konoha brought up a lot of bad memories he didn't like. The group entered the building and through a pair of double doors where the council members, the elder advisors, and the Hokage waited. The guests from Nashiko are here, as requested by Hokage-sama. Jiraiya stepped aside, allowing Anbu to bring a few chairs by. That's okay, we would like to stand if that's okay with you, Hokage-sama. Tsunade shook her head. No, it's okay if you stand, that's up to you. Anyway, I'm glad that you came in our time of need. What shall we call you, sir? Flashmaster. The council members all stared at him with pure shock on their faces. This was the guy that helped the bloodline users win the civil war in Kiri, killing the Yonde Mizukage. They heard that he killed hundreds of men in minutes, breaking Minato's record. The leader of Nadeshiko was the famous Flashmaster. Tsunade regained herself before speaking again. So Flashmaster, I'm sure you know about the war we're currently in, and we would like to end it quickly by any means necessary to avoid the bloodshed of innocent lives. Orochimaru has been a thorn in our side for years, and he needs to be put down. We want to discuss a few things that would benefit both countries greatly. Let's start with what your country would like from us. Actually, I would like to hear what Konoha wants from us first, Hokage-sama. I insist that you guys go first, plus we don't know what we want yet anyways. A few council members grinned at this, then let their quest be known. We heard your village had strong women, but only married them off to a few selected males. We would like you to send one of your girls over to us. Naruto held his hand up, stopping her completely. I'm sorry, but we do not send our nins anywhere away from home. The way things work is that we attract males to our village where they marry our female nins and remain there. Any request about any of our female nins will be denied, so forget about it. Jun Haruno sneered at the man in front of him. Then there's no point in making any deals with you. We could just destroy your village and take all you female nins then. Killing intent flashed throughout the chambers for a brief moment. The civilian council members were frozen in fear, while the shinobi council members were on guard. The Hokage and the elder advisors stared at him with critical eyes. His killing intent didn't feel normal at all. Now I would watch you threaten Haruno-san, or I might take those words as a war engagement. I assure you that despite our size, all of our sins are above level. Secondly, I am not the one asking for an alliance here. But now that I think about it, I would like to decline any alliance between my village and Konoha. Also, should any Konoha nin appear on my land, then I will take this as a sign of war. Should war arise between us, then our ally Kiri will join the war as well. I will be taking my leave now. Before Tsunade had a chance to fix the mistake created by Jun Naruto, the others vanished in swirls of water. Tsunade glared at the loudmouth council member, making her flinch. You just cost us an ally, Haruno-san, what do you have to say about this? She remained quite angry at Tsunade. Now you chose this time to remain quiet. She forced herself to calm down before Sakura lost her mother today. She turned towards the others with a look of irritation. So what would you guys do now? We could always search for the Kyuubi container and bring him back to Konoha. With loyalty on our side, we'll be able to turn the war into our favor. Tsunade scoffed at Danzo. We don't have a clue as to where Danzo went. Jiraiya has been searching for him for 3 years and we can't find him at all. Not even Akatsuki has a clue as to where he's at right now. He simply fell off the map after his banishment, not that I blame him. Still, I never imagined he would be this hard to find. That shows that he still lives up to his reputation as Konoha's most unpredictable ninja. She grits her teeth at how hard it was to find him. She was sure Jiraiya would have been able to find him quickly. Why don't you ask the toads to see if he recently summoned any of them? If we could get the last location he summoned him, as well as the other areas, then I'm sure we'll be able to find his hidden location. Kaharu was sure that he summoned a toad or two over the years, so maybe they'll be able to find him through his summons. That would have worked if he was still allied with the toads, but that isn't the case right now. He cancelled his contract with the toads 3 years ago, 1 week after leaving the village. Otherwise we would have been able to locate him quickly, but there's nothing we could do about that. Tsunade was curious as to why Naruto cancelled his contract with the toads. Did he know that the toads would have been able to locate him? No, he possibly couldn't have known about that. Either way, Jiraiya was still upset that he lost his pupil. His sadness quickly turned into pure rage towards the council members that agreed to banish him in the first place. He still didn't like them at all, even going as far as to threaten any of them that approached him for one reason or another. Well, at least we don't have to worry about losing the contract to the demon. Sume relaxed after saying these words. She was one of the few people of the shinobi side that voted for the demon's banishment. The others were the Hyuga head Hiashi, the Uchiha clan head Kakashi, the Akimichi clan head Choza, and the Yamanaka clan head Inoichi. Tsunade glared at the mud in front of her as her hand twitched in anticipation. She wanted to knock her head off of her shoulders right now, but that wouldn't end well on her side for killing a clan head in cold blood. All we have to do is get Jiraiya to allow someone else to sign the contract, plus get another student with more potential than that demon brat. He could make another yellow flash easily. Actually, Minato was a once-in-a-while deal, replied Danzo. Seeing all eyes shift towards him, he continued speaking. Minato created Hiraishin on his own without the help of Jiraiya. Jiraiya simply didn't create the yellow flash, as you believed. Minato was born a genius surpassing so many of our nins in the past and our current nins. Not even Itachi was capable of the things Minato did. If I had his sealing skills, then Kyuubi would have been removed from the boy years ago, but sadly I don't. No, that boy is floating around for anyone to claim him as their own. Orochimaru could very well have him under his thumb, but haven't revealed him yet. To simply vanish from the face of the earth is impossible no matter how skilled you are. Even Itachi has been spotted taking on missions for Akatsuki. Shikaku added his own input as well. He could have changed his identity and moved somewhere we wouldn't check. Supposedly he moved to Iwa or Kumo under a false name. That would make sense as to why we couldn't find him for 3 years. Danzo thought about Shikaku's words. He might have done exactly that, Nara-san, so it's safe to say he's actually learned a few things outside of Konoha. He knows Akatsuki was after him on his mission to retrieve Hokage-sama and their intention from Jiraiya-sama. He must have trained as well, but where would he get training material from? The answer came from Shibi. He could have spoken to missing nins about training or something. I have heard about his ability to convince others, plus Tsunade is proof of this. He most likely convinced a few missing nins to teach him whatever they knew at the time. What if he went to Kiri instead of Kumo and Iwa? It would be easy for him to sneak in under the radar of even the Mizukage. He could have slipped in right after the war ended when the people were registering their names or something like that. Jiraiya remained silent as the council member came up with different ideas as to where Naruto went. The boy was extremely hard to find, just like when he was in Konoha doing pranks if the notes his sensei left behind indicated. Apparently after pranking someone, he would hide until the chaos died down. Once the chaos ceased, he would sneak out and run to class, outrunning any nins that gave chase to him. His monster stamina allowed him to run fast for a long distance. He chuckled at the facial expressions they probably had when chasing the boy. The council members turned to Jiraiya wondering what he found funny. Jiraiya, seeing their attention on him, explained what he was laughing about. Sensei left behind some notes about his hiding skills when he was in Konoha. I heard he was able to hide from plus outrun them. I guess his hiding skills never decreased at all. If anything, they must have increased greatly, and to think he was able to do so all on his own. That boy is something else, especially when he mastered it within 1 week. It took me 3 months to master that. I wonder what else he was able to accomplish on his own. The possibilities are limitless right now. He could have very well created advanced versions of the council members along with the advisors didn't like the sound of that. We need to find and eliminate the demon now. That demon must be preparing to attack us soon. Maybe our hunter nins will be able to take care of him. We must do something, Hokage-sama. All council members went quiet instantly when the sounds of wood shattering were heard. They looked up to find Tsunade glaring at them as if they were the most annoying thing in the world. First off, we don't have a clue as to where he is, so shut the hell up. Naruto hasn't bothered the village, nor will he leave that issue alone regarding him. If anything, we should be focused on the war and winning it. We don't have time for anything else unless you don't care if Konoha survives or not. She scanned the room to see if anyone was going to cut her off, but saw none. There is also the issue regarding Orochimaru. Based on what Jiraiya told us, he will be trading bodies soon, and we need to prevent him from taking over the Uchiha's body no matter what. You can't kill the last Uchiha Hokage-sama. We must bring him back alive then. My baby loves Sasuke, so you can't harm him, Hokage-sama. I'm sure the daimyo wouldn't approve of the Hokage exterminating the Uchiha clan now, would he? The other grabbed their ears in pain. June sure did have a voice on her. Maybe her voice was instead of the two minds. Tsunade waited until the ringing stopped. I'm the Hokage of this village, so you better remember your place, Haruno-san. She allowed killing intent to silence her. As to the Uchiha, he was considered a traitor the day he went to Orochimaru. He knew Orochimaru killed our Hokage, so that makes things even worse. I never even mentioned killing him, but I will do it if he can't be saved from Orochimaru. The last thing we need is for Orochimaru to gain the Sharingan. I'll deploy an elite group consisting of Jiraiya, Kakashi, Kurenai, Guy, and Asuma to retrieve Sasuke Uchiha. The Pikachu beetle supplied by the Aburam clan plus the headband we received from Sakura will allow us to retrieve the Uchiha brat quickly. We'll need to act fast or we'll be too late to stop Orochimaru. I want the people I named for this mission to be in my office within the next 30 minutes, Kakashi and Jiraiya. Everyone else is dismissed for now. She got up and walked to her office, not wanting to be around the group any longer. She also needed some sake to relieve some stress. 30 minutes later her selected members came into the office on time just as she wanted. A few dropped off Sasuke's old headband Naruto brought back and the Pikachu beetle before taking off once again. Tsunade turned to the group in front of her to explain their mission. I want you to find Sasuke and bring him back to Konoha so Orochimaru won't be able to gain the Sharingan. If Orochimaru already has possession over Sasuke's body, then kill him and destroy the body. You must prevent Orochimaru from gaining the Sharingan at all cost. Failure to do so will result in dire consequences, so move out now. They answered in a chorus of hi before taking off. Hopefully this will delay any plans Orochimaru has for us for a while. That was her last thought as she went over to Kage's most hated enemy, paperwork. Orochimaru-sama, I've received word that the Flashmaster was in Konoha and has rejected their alliance. Apparently the head of the Haruno clan said a few words to anger the apparent leader of Nashiko. That adds Nashiko and Kiri to our list of neutral countries in this war. It's a good thing too because I heard he was the one to kill the Yondaime Hokage of Kiri with ease. I wonder why he would lead a place of civilian women, but then again he would be able to have all the women please him at any time. A sly grin came across Kabuto's face at the thought of an entire village of women pleasing one man. Any man would have dreamed of having such an advantage, especially him. It would even be better if all the women were strong fighters as well. Orochimaru rolled his eyes at the perverted thoughts Kabuto was thinking. Despite how much he displays himself as a good loyal servant to him, he knew Kabuto was more than that. He also knew that Kabuto made sexual advances on a few of his experiments being rejected, so he didn't interfere with his work. It doesn't matter Kabuto-san, he's no longer a threat to us at all. In the meantime, I want you to gather a few women for Sasuke-kun to impregnate soon. Once he has passed on his sperm to at least 20 women minimum, I will take over his body and crush Konoha to dust. The children will be raised to be strong vessels for me to transfer to in the future. They will have them produce with one another to strengthen the bloodline, allowing me to gain more power than ever. I will be able to keep the Sharingan for many years to come. Try to find any females with a body or chakra based. Anyone with a won't work well with the Sharingan at all. I discovered this after many attempts in merging two different languages, but it isn't possible. The dominant bloodline of the wielders will emerge rather than merge. Orochimaru was a bit pissed when he found out how much time he wasted to learn that. Well, at least you found out, plus we do have a few women that fit the description of Orochimaru-sama. Guren, Kijiro, Karen, and Kotohim are a few I could think of that have great powers that would help produce great Uchiha members for Odo. A few others could be from your rogue experiments that you locked away. They will be able to help create strong bodies for you, Orochimaru-sama. Orochimaru allowed a smile on his face at the possibilities of stronger bodies for personal usage. He could already imagine the limitless possibilities already. Very well, you may start with them then search for a few others later. I'm sure Konoha won't stay idle as I make a few preparations to take Sasuke-kun's body. I doubt Itachi would allow something like that despite killing off his clan. Itachi was such a selfish brat when it came to his eyes. He tried to kill me when I wanted to borrow his eyes for a brief moment. Orochimaru pouted like a child while Kabuto sweat dropped at his master's behavior. Despite being cruel, Orochimaru had his moments that made Kabuto question his master's sanity if it's even there at all. I will make sure Itachi doesn't interfere with the process of Orochimaru-sama when the time comes around. Now what about the moving process of Orochimaru-sama? Oh yes, I almost forgot about that. I want you to move everything to our new base, giving us more time. We'll use Sasuke's scent to guide them away from us and to another village. The Pikachu beetle you mentioned will be able to find Sasuke no matter what we do. All we could do right now is to lead them on a wild goose chase. While they're following that little annoying insect, we'll be making our next few moves. By the time they reach here, it'll be too late for them to stop me. Kabuto allowed a smile to grace his lips. Being around Orochimaru was too much fun when he was on his good side, as always. Orochimaru stopped laughing when he remembered something. How is your project concerning Naruto-kun's mother Kushina Uzumaki? Kabuto-san. What were the results of your research? Kabuto pushed his glasses upwards as he thought over the details he recorded. Kushina has shown stability, plus her body was able to adapt to Hashirama's DNA. She now has the flowing in her body now, sir. Once I'm done with her, she'll be up and fighting by the end of this week, sir. The only problem is that we won't be able to brainwash her, sir, due to the seal she placed on her body. We could, however, allow her to see how horrible her son's life was in Konoha, turning her against the village. She will either be on our side or neutral, so we gain something good or nothing at all. We won't gain any more enemies to worry about. There is also the fact that we could use her to eliminate Akatsuki once they find Naruto's location. I'm sure she wouldn't want her child to die by their hands. It also helps that Akatsuki was the reason she lost her husband and almost her son as well. She'll hunt them down plus find her son, which no one was able to do lately. Orochimaru allowed the information to sink in his mind. That does sound promising, Kabuto-san. Let me see what she looks like now, as well as any latest details about her. On the way there I want you to select the women you have in store for Sasuke-kun, though I wonder why you didn't have Kushina carry an Uchiha child. Kabuto shrugged his shoulders. I figured that would be the last thing we'd want to do when it could add another enemy for us. By healing her back to 100%, we'll be gaining her trust plus a possible favor. I'm sure she'll be able to kill Itachi for us and remove his eyes for you to incorporate in one of your future temporary bodies as the Uchiha children grow. You will need a few of those bodies until your vessels reach a certain age for you to fight in. I guess that makes sense to Kabuto-san, plus she will be able to kill a few Akatsuki members alone. If she reunites with Naruto-kun, then Akatsuki will gain a powerful enemy. I doubt Naruto-kun allowed his skills to diminish anyway. Orochimaru and Kabuto made their way towards the lab's bottom floor, passing the most dangerous experiments. They continued their way until they found themselves in a large room with a glass tank in the center of the room. Inside the glass tank was the former of the Kyuubi, ex-wife to Minato Namikaze, and mother to Naruto Uzumaki, Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze in all her glory. Kabuto wiped away his nosebleed when he saw her body. She had a body that rivaled Tsunade in her prime age and long red hair that now reached her feet. Next to the machine were monitors showing her constant pulse, indicating that she was still alive. So this is Red Death. Orochimaru scanned her body with keen eyes. The only person capable of matching Tsunade's own strength and medic skills right in front of us is nothing short of amazement. Once he was done being amazed, he along with Kabuto began their moving. He sent out a few nins to spread false trails and sense of Sasuke to throw Konoha nins off. This would keep them busy for a while until he was finished transferring his body. Orochimaru walked out his base when he was sure he had given out jobs to everyone here. His men would move everything out of the base with him. He summoned his fastest traveling summons to carry Sasuke, himself, and Kabuto to their new location. Their journey to their new destination took about 6 hours total. Orochimaru allowed his snake to return before heading to his base in Odo. In Odo he would be able to secure the Uchiha more without interference from anyone else. The lab transfer should take no more than 3 days, but for now he needed to ensure future Uchiha children. Kabuto, would you like to introduce Sasuke-kun to the subjects that will help him revive his clan? Kabuto nodded his head, then led the Uchiha to where he would begin his process. Sasuke allowed Kabuto to lead him away, not caring about the fact that he would be building his clan right now. It was part of his dream after all, plus he would be getting a chance to kill Itachi sooner, so he thought. Orochimaru watched Sasuke leave with a cruel smile on his face. Soon Sasuke-kun, your body will be mine. Kukikik, Nashiko, Naruto, Shizuka and Takiwa were found relaxing in their personal hot spa room. They had just informed all his nins about their decisions as well as why that decision was made. Upon hearing an honorable council member make such a declaration against them made them angry. They all agreed to destroy any Konoha nin that made any moves against them, such as kidnapping one of their own. To ensure Konoha didn't manage to sneak into the village, Naruto placed more seals further away from the village, extending their sensory reach up to 10 more miles than it originally was. They would be able to know when anyone came within 50 miles of Water Country's borders. The way they created their sensor base was that anyone not associated with Nashiko would appear on their radar as red dots for enemies and green for allies. Anyone associated with Nashiko would appear on radar as blue dots, allowing the residents to distinguish one another easily. No one knew about Nashiko's sensor abilities, nor would they since it was a well-guarded secret. Naruto sank in the boiling water, allowing his body to become more submerged in the water. It was moments like this he enjoyed the most. I hope you do realize that a few people in Konoha will make a few moves against us. I know for a fact that they'll send an in with no identification or any association with Konoha over here. When we do discover that person, they will just disclaim any association with that person. Naruto glanced at Takiwa with a knowing look. Yeah, I know they'll do that, and I already know who will most likely be over here. Danzo has a group of elites under his thumb known as Root. Root was supposed to be disbanded for inhuman practices, but the old Warhawk secretly kept them. I encountered a few nins here and there, but they were never after me at the time. I saw them traveling to other places, and they're just like that except they never reveal information. They usually kill themselves with a hidden poison in their mouth, or the seal on their tongues kill them, along with destroying any knowledge they contain. I'm betting that the elder advisors know about them, so it's safe to assume they're working together on any operations. They won't be able to sneak in without us knowing unless they could mask not only their chakra, but their body heat, heart pulse, and anything else that indicates that they're still alive. Shizuka and Tokiwa were impressed by the sensory functions. They knew it was advanced, but they never knew what it was truly capable of. It won't stop them from trying to sneak into the country, Naruto-kun. They don't know what we're capable of after all. I know that much about Shizuka-chan, but this will be a good thing for us. I'll catch one of their operatives and extract any information en route. I'll send him back with explosives strapped to him which will detonate once he reaches his master. I know it won't kill Danzo or the elders, but it might kill a few others and send a message to those old geezers. They'll be cautious about sending any more nins, especially when the explosion could possibly alert the Hokage about the hidden base, unless it's located in the Forest of Death or somewhere underground. If that's the case, then they'll try to be more discreet about sending their nins off again. It's nothing to worry about though, I'm all over it. The two relaxed after hearing him say this. They soon went back to relaxing a little. They of course never really got the chance to enjoy their relaxation when a few nins entered the room with panic on their faces. Naruto-sama, I'm very sorry to interrupt your relaxation, but we have an emergency at hand. Iwa and Kumo nins are attacking our allies in Hot Spring Country and have asked us for help. Not only that, but they took that as a sign of war and declared war on Kumo and Iwa. If they did nothing, then Iwa and Kumo will take this as a sign of weakness. So much for peace, but then again he knew peace wouldn't last forever anyways. Don't worry about Lily. I will personally deal with these nins plus escort them back home. I think Iwa and Kumo have been getting arrogant over the years, believing they can't be touched, but that will change soon. Would you mind grabbing my special uniform, Lily-san? Thank you. Lily ran towards the display where he kept his special suit he wore when he received the name Flashmaster. She came back with black skin-tight uniform and light black combat shoes. In her other hand was a black full-blank mask that covered his entire head. This allowed him to move without restrictions, plus keep his identity a complete secret. He got dressed in his uniform, then took a look at his appearance. I'll be back, ladies. He vanished in the blink of an eye to his destination being Hot Spring Country. The Kiri nins cursed when they were forced to dodge more earth and lightning. While they were able to fight against Iwa nins evenly, the Kumo nins and their lightning-based attack made things harder for them. Despite having control over water, it wouldn't do well to be struck by lightning when wet. A few Kumo nins went through a few hand seals, creating water dragons to wet the area. The nines quickly get rid of the water to avoid devastating attacks. Some use the water to strike Iwa nins, forcing the Kumo nins to be careful when using lightning-based attacks. At Suga, the Kiri nins looked over to find Konoha nins battling their way to a group of Kumo nins that had a Hyuga member if her eyes were to go by. An Iwa nin created a large wall allowing Kiba to destroy that instead of his ally. The Kumo nin holding Hinata glanced back to find his men holding the girls' team members off. He increased his pace to Hot Spring Country's docks and hopped on board. The ship slowly took off to Kumo where Hinata would be used as a breeding whore. Kumo would finally be able to get a Hyuga clan in Kumo like they wanted to. Their plan went just as planned so far. They had someone from Water Mission request Team 8 to track down someone that knew about Iwa inside and out. Information like that would help them win the war easier, especially when they could sneak into Iwa and destroy said village. Kumo told Iwa of their plan, then made a deal that would get both villages a Hyuga clan. As for attacking Kiri, they wanted to make sure Kiri stayed out of the war, knowing how Konoha would request them. They thought that through fear, they would stay out of the war. To ensure Kiri stayed out of the war, they would have created bases around the sea to ensure Kiri was blocked off completely. Hiba continued attacking with Akamaru by his side. His sister figure was being taken away to Kumo where she would be raped and his attempt seemed futile. Hinata, he called out her name as he continued his assault on the Iwa nins, blocking him from reaching her. Kurenai tried casting a few, but their allies broke them out easily. Shino tried sending his allies over to stop him, but that attempt was shot down after what happened next. Raiden. Lightning discharge. Lightning shot from the fingers of a Kumo nin towards the beetles. As soon as they came into contact with a few of them, lightning surged through their bodies, bouncing from one bug to another. Each bug dropped to the ground dead. Kiba watched as the ship sailed further away from them. Tears streamed down his face as he continued attacking the nins. He wouldn't stop until they were all dead. He would get Hinata back no matter what. An Iwa nin saw Kiba's attention focused on the others in front of him and saw this as a perfect opportunity. He went through a few hand seals that would hopefully kill the Konoha. Kiba, watch out, everything slowed down for Kiba when he heard this. He turned around to find a large jagged rock hurling towards him at top speeds. His body froze, not allowing him to move from the dangerous attack. The pain never registered when the rock punctured his chest, killing him instantly. Kurenai watched in horror as her student's body went limp. The jagged rock kept him up when he went through him and stuck to the ground. She found her legs carrying her over to her student. She didn't even care about anyone around her right now, but rather her student. Tears streamed down her eyes at the thought of a student dying under her and most importantly losing another student. Just as she reached halfway to Kiba, his body exploded leaving behind smoke. Kurenai stopped when she wondered when Kiba learned shadow clones. She turned to the sound of blades slicing skin to find Iwanin and his severed head falling to the ground. Right behind him was the man she easily identified as Flashmaster. She sighed in relief when she noticed Kiba in his arms alive. Kiba allowed a sigh of relief to escape his lips, but froze when his nose picked up on a familiar scent he easily recognized from 3 years ago. There was no mistaking the scent, but something was off about him. There was a lack of scent that he was used to. Where was the fox scent that stayed on him every day of his life? It was the same scent that marked him as Kyuubi no Kitsune. His mother told him about Kyuubi taking on a human form ever since the lore evolving around Naruto was revoked, allowing everyone to know about Kyuubi's fate. Right now he didn't smell that at all, which was really confusing. Say hello to Kyuubi no Kitsune, guys. Kiba was able to hear his words loud and clear, but what did he mean? Killing intent beyond what anyone has felt spiked in the distance. His nose picked up on the familiar scent he was used to smelling on Naruto, but it wasn't right next to him. Naruto dropped Kiba on the ground, allowing him to turn around just in time to see the nine-tailed fox attacking Kumo and Iwa instead of them. The Kumo and Iwanins turned their attention towards the large fox and attacked together. Kyuubi slammed his tail to shatter any earth, but the armor around the fox absorbed the attacks. Kyuubi pierced them with his tails, ripping their bodies into pieces. Kiba turned to the spot Naruto was in when his scent went away. He turned back to see him on Kyuubi's head using a wind and fire combination against Kumo and Iwanins. In less than 20 minutes after entering the battle, all the Kumo and Iwanins were dead. The Kirinins all climbed on Kyuubi before taking off across the ocean with Kyuubi utilizing water walking exercise. Kurenai walked up to Kiba and hugged her student. She saw each student as family members to her. Thanks to Flashmaster, we'll have a fighting chance to get Hinata back before she reaches Kumo. The revelation about Naruto being Flashmaster was shocking. How the hell did the class dead last get a reputation like that? Kurenai looked at Kiba in confusion. No one knew who the Flashmaster was, so why would Kiba call him a dead last? Kiba, what are you talking about? No one knows who the Flashmaster is or where he came from. Shino on the other hand narrowed his eyes when he thought about what Kiba said. The only person with the title dead last was Naruto Uzumaki, who fell off the face of the earth. What do you mean, sensei? I know for a fact that it was Naruto based on his scent. I remembered Naruto's scent off the back of my hand. For some reason I wasn't able to smell him from a distance, almost as if he's somehow hiding his scent, but when you're up close to him, I was able to pick up his scent. Flashmaster is Naruto, and I even have Akamaru to prove it too. I'll get Kachin to cut my clothes when we get back. She'll confirm this to everyone. Kiba soon realized something. Wait, I thought Kyuubi was Naruto in human form. Shino shook his head at the notion of his teammate being a large fox stuffed in human skin. No, Kiba, your mother was clouded by anger for the loss of her husband to see Naruto for what he truly is. I'm sure seeing Kyuubi and Naruto side by side will clear up some things for you, Kiba-san. Maybe your story and his scent will be able to clarify a few things for the people in Konoha. Does Naruto's scent contain anything fox-related other than the whiskers? Kiba shook her head after confirming it. This will help show the council members on the shinobi side that Naruto and the fox were separate entities after all. Now I believe we should. Several Konoha appeared at the scene, all geared up for battle. I was sent here by Hokage-sama to order any remaining Konohanins to return immediately. There have been several incidents with Kumo and Iwanins attacking Konohanins outside of the village. 30 of our sins were killed in the attacks, and we can't take any more chances. Failure to do so will result in severe punishment. Where is Hinata Hyuga Kurenai-san? She was taken by Kumo Nins. This mission was a setup created by Kumo and Iwa. Right now she's on a ship en route to Kumo. They stayed silent for a few minutes. Very well, we will retrieve her from one of the islands later. We received word about Kyuubi attacking several ships belonging to Kumo and raiding their ships. They mentioned Kirinins on their backs, as well as Flashmaster. Hopefully they will take the Hyuga girl as well. They'll no doubt send her to Konoha for a fee, just as they did with the sword belonging to our Niddame Hokage Tabarama Senju. If not, then she'll end up on one of the small islands. Their attack here will trigger a war with Kiri and Nashiko, which the Flashmaster is the leader of. Kiba whistled in amazement. Naruto sure has been busy lately. They turned to Kiba wondering what he was talking about. Kiba felt eyes on him and knew he was confused as well. Naruto is the Flashmaster and he somehow has Kyuubi fighting for him. Kyuubi killed those Kumo and Iwanins with ease. He even gave the fox protection against Kumo's attacks. He saved me from being killed by an Iwa nin. I was able to pick his scent up and I easily recognized his scent anywhere. He placed that in the back of his mind. He would tell his fellow students about the large discovery. To think the Flashmaster was none other than Konoha's ex-nin showed how much potential they allowed to slip through their fingers. At least they knew where Naruto was now. We need to get to Konoha immediately, plus I'm sure the council members would like to hear about this new information. Teammate followed them back to Konoha. Each member glanced at the sea while hoping Naruto saved Hinata from a terrible fate. Suiton. Demon's mouth. Large whirlpools quickly formed, sucking up any Kumo nins floating on water or swimming. Kyuubi maneuvered around the whirlpool with a large smile on his face at the thought of killing many nins. He enjoyed every second of freedom his ally Naruto helped him achieve. After 15 years of imprisonment, he was completely free, and it was all thanks to Naruto. The kid had grown to a level even his father wasn't capable of. He was the first human to defeat him utterly in battle. The other two humans, Hashirama Senju and Madara Uchiha, only suppressed or hypnotized him knowing they would lose in the long run. Naruto on the other hand fought him until he was unable to continue fighting. Not once did he suppress his chakra or anything to hinder him. He used powerful attacks and avoided his own tailed beast ball. When the match was over, Kyuubi was expecting some sort of imprisonment, but instead he received a deal to become equals and his family's personal summons. At first he told the blonde no. Naruto shrugged it off, as if it wasn't a big deal. Kyuubi walked away a good distance to see if the kid would chase him down, but that wasn't the case. He kept an eye on him for a month, but nothing happened. Kyuubi confronted him again and questioned him. Not once did Naruto lie to him about his intentions towards Kyuubi. He simply stated that it would be cool to have the strongest tailed beast protecting his future family like he once protected Yuzushi Agakure. Kyuubi thought about it for a while then agreed. He remained hidden from everyone except Naruto. He would take on the form of a small fox the size of an ordinary fox. This allowed him to enter the hidden chambers where he spent most of his time. Kyuubi glanced up to see Naruto drowning Kumo nins left and right. He couldn't contain the pride he felt towards the teen in front of him. He respected Naruto though he wouldn't admit it. You've come a long way, kid. Alright guys, I see one more ship ahead and they seem to have a hostage as well. It looks like that shy Hyuga from Konoha. I do believe Kumo hasn't given up on gaining the Byakugan. Maybe an ultimate plan is required, right Naruto-kun? Naruto thought over what Kyuubi said. I guess a prank will do. Take the Kiri nins back to their village. I'll deal with these nins plus give them a prank they'll never forget. A mischievous grin appeared on his face. Kyuubi turned away from the ship allowing Naruto to deal with the Kumo nins on his own. I wonder why Hokage Samura called Kurenai Jiraiya. Did she have a more important mission for her? If so, why didn't she send others as well instead of teammate? Something doesn't feel right about all this. I mean sure teammate consists of Chunin's nins now, but this is wartime right now, so anything's possible. I really don't like the bad feeling I'm getting. Jiraiya allowed Kakashi's words to sink in. He too didn't like the fact that teammate was being sent off to track some important guy that would help turn the tides in their favor. I don't like the feeling of Kakashi either, but I trust Tsunade on this, plus she's stressed out right now, especially when the Haruno clan pissed off the Flashmaster and the cost of the alliance with Nashiko. A large sweat drop formed on Kakashi's forehead. He had only one idea as to how she would piss the Flashmaster off. Let me guess, she said something he didn't like or rather screeched it out. Jiraiya nodded his head before his head transformed into an older version of Sakura with a large forehead. Then there's no point in making any deals with you. We could just destroy your village and take all you female nins then. Kakashi could only shake his head at her stupidity. They were supposed to be considered smart and all having two minds, but then again the clan was a newly shinobi clan since last year. They used this as a way to become a shinobi clan and had the fire daimyo write a letter about allowing them to do so. It didn't help the fact that Sakura created a shattered glass. The fire daimyo was very pleased to hear about the Haruno clan's abilities, but then again he was easily impressed with many things, especially that incident with Konohamaru. Flashback. So Kakashi, what does Konoha wish for that I could assist them with? Kakashi pulled out a list and prepared to read it, but Konohamaru had something else in mind. I'm going to defeat you and become the next daimyo. Once I'm the ruler I'll allow Naruto and Aichin back into Konoha to become a ninja again. Sexy no. The fire daimyo's guards were tense when the young boy used it in the presence of their leader. When the cloud cleared away, a naked brunette was left standing in a seductive poise. Everyone except Kakashi flew back with nosebleeds. Kakashi never glanced at him knowing he would fall for it. He began to wonder where Naruto taught him his signature. The fire daimyo stood up and clapped with a childlike glee. That was a wonderful young performance. That could be a great distraction for many nins to come. Konohamaru bowed his head accepting the praise he was receiving. Flashback end. Kakashi shook his head at the memory of the incident. I'm surprised he didn't attack her in retaliation to her threat. Oh, he attacked us alright. He not only denied the alliance, but he made threats to any of us that sent any shinobi near his village, stating he along with Kiri would go to war. After that they started talking about Naruto once again, about how he's a demon that should be put down. Jiraiya motioned the others to stop immediately, which they did. They quickly hid somewhere, allowing a large group of Iwa nins to run by. What were Iwa nins doing close to Konoha and Odo? They waited for the group to pass before continuing their way to Odo, passing a few Iwa or Kumo nins on the way there. It would seem that there must be something going on if Iwa and Kumo were sending out large groups of nins. Were they attacking Konoha nins somewhere? Just the thought made Kakashi want to attack, but they were on a secret mission to get Sasuke back. They had the beetle sealed away for later purposes since they weren't using it right now. Jiraiya had a hunch that Orochimaru would be back in Odo with Sasuke for protection, and he was never wrong about his hunches so far. They made their way past several more large groups of nins, and Kakashi was growing more nervous by the second. What was going on that required so much nins to travel? He glanced back at Asuma and Guy, who were both sporting serious looks as well. He knew they were worried as well and knew how they were feeling. Jiraiya stopped the group once they were right outside the village walls. From this point on we can't make a single sound or we might be discovered. Use hand seals to communicate with each other and be careful. We'll search the village until we find Sasuke. Quickly take him down using my seal and move out. Send a small chakra pulse to the seal you placed on your belts, indicating the target secured, and we'll head out immediately. We can't afford to fail this mission, so be careful. The group separated from each other to locate their target. Kabuto-san, how is the Uchiha doing right now? Orochimaru went over to see Kabuto watching Kushina slowly stumbling through a few trees in her battle gear. Kabuto turned to his master with a smile. He turned on a different monitor, allowing Orochimaru to see Sasuke engaged in sexual acts with Karen. He's been doing extremely well at Orochimaru-sama. With the help of a few medicines I created, Sasuke has been trying to satisfy his sexual needs. Karen is his 15th girl so far, and I have taken several steps to ensure that they are guaranteed to get pregnant. Also, Kushina recovered much faster than I anticipated. I explained to her how we saved her from dying and allowed her a second chance to see her son that is hidden after his betrayal at the hands of Konoha. To make things short, I made her angry towards the village that scorned him. Right now she's going to locate him, and I believe she'll be able to do so. I even added a little memory about Danzo with a little twist. I gave her the memory of Danzo handing her over to us to brainwash her, and how your kind heart made you toss such a monstrous idea out the window. You will look like a hero in her eyes, Orochimaru-sama, while Konoha gets another enemy. Orochimaru couldn't contain the smile on his face at the new information. That's good news so far, Kabuto-san. I'm glad I have you as my right-hand man, Kabuto-san. I wish I had a second you or an army of you. As a matter of fact, I have a gift for you, Kabuto-san. Orochimaru unsealed a large part of the snakeskin and gave it to Kabuto. This is a small piece of my true form. I want you to fuse with it and control the power you will gain. This will allow you to use several of mine no one else will be able to use and become just like me. Kabuto bowed his head as he thanked his master. Thank you, Orochimaru-sama. I will start the process immediately if you don't mind. Orochimaru motioned him to go, which he did just that. To him this was the gift of a lifetime and an opportunity to become just like his master. To Orochimaru, it would mean that he would be able to keep his most loyal nin alive to assist him in the future. Such loyal and powerful nins were so hard to find nowadays. Kabuto was a gem that he was glad to have found. Kabuto was a genius like him, but had great potential that would probably allow him to surpass his own limits. He would make another snake out of the medic nin, no matter what, even going as far as to teach him about stealing bodies. Kakashi maneuvered his way around a few station nins as he investigated each house for anything out of the ordinary or his target Sasuke Uchiha. So far he didn't have any luck regarding his mission, but he did get a few peeks on naked women taking a shower. Luckily his mask hid his blush completely as well as the minor nosebleed he had. The few Odo nins he saw so far were wonderful. The sound of a shower caught his attention. He grew curious as to how the girl looked, so he went to peek. 5 minutes later a pale-skinned Kakashi emerged from the house, petrified at the sight he saw. The girl was the ugliest thing he saw so far, plus she had a penis. He was glad he didn't use his Sharingan to burn it in his memory for many years to come. He continued searching the east side of Odo, hoping to get the mission over with it. He didn't like the idea of staying in enemy territory for too long. An idea soon popped in his mind as to how they would be able to weaken Odo. First he needed some information on the village, which he got using one of the sound genins and his Sharingan. He disposed of the adult genin and went towards Odo's water, food, and weapon supply after checking the east side of Odo. He planted a few paper bombs on the selected areas to not only hurt Odo, but allow them enough time to leave. The explosion would confuse the enemy, making them believe it was an attack on their village. Once the bombs were placed, he went to another region of Konoha where he met up with Guy. Guy was leaving the area, so he guessed that he checked the area and came up empty. He asked Guy if Sasuke was there, which Guy shook his head at. Asuma appeared next to Kakashi and signaled that Sasuke wasn't there as well. Just as the three were about to head over Jiraiya's area, a pulse was felt from their seals. They immediately took off, knowing Jiraiya must have found Sasuke and restrained him. As soon as the three were out of the village, all three of them activated bombs they placed in different areas without telling each other. It seemed that they were all thinking the same thing when they realized that they could hurt Odo now. A chain of explosions went off, destroying several important buildings, including the Odokage towers. They continued running until they found Jiraiya with Sasuke wrapped up in sheets and seals placed all over him. Once they were all confirmed to be present, they left, not wanting to stick around for enemies to show up. Jiraiya placed the unconscious Uchiha on his shoulders to get a better hold of their package. Orochimaru glared at the scene in front of him with fury in his eyes. His future body was just stolen from under his nose, and by Jiraiya, if the chibi drawing of him sticking his tongue out indicated that. He didn't take into consideration that they would send him out of all people to retrieve Sasuke, but that was his fault for not taking everyone into consideration. He sighed at how horrible his day was going so far. Kabuto wasn't able to do anything because he's still undergoing his transformation. Not only did he lose his vessel, but they destroyed a few major buildings, weakening Odo greatly. He needed to get Odo back on its feet now before someone invaded them. It wouldn't take too long anyway, thanks to the recovery system he created. But still, there had to be more than one Konoha in to infiltrate Odo. One person couldn't have done all this damage. It doesn't matter, as I'm sure Sasuke-kun will run back to me once more. A traitor will always remain a traitor no matter what. Whether or not Konoha believes it, Sasuke-kun will always be just like me. Kukikik. He turned back to begin his recovery system and to check on Kabuto. Nashiko. Hinata followed the man known as Flashmaster to his caste without hesitation. He saved her from being raped by Kumo nins, plus he made no move against her. She felt safe around him for some odd reason. The aura of confidence radiated from him almost like a certain genin she loved. Her eyes went left and right, taking notice of the lack of men except the man in front of her. There were no signs of any other men, making her wonder what was going on. She didn't know much about Nashiko due to her training schedules that helped her get stronger. Still, usually a village had a decent amount of males, but that wasn't the case here at all. She felt nervous when all present eyes on her. Naruto ignored the nervous girl behind him as he focused on his task ahead, which was to return the girl for a fee. He could have allowed her to reach Kumo, but he didn't like the idea of rape, so he saved her. A few nins appeared in front of him and bowed. Your failures have been released, sir. We believe the Dark One is the one behind the releases, sir. What do you want us to do, sir? Naruto sighed in annoyance when they mentioned them. It was he tried creating using a previous shadow clone and a few other principles he learned. They not only almost killed him, but something happened that he didn't expect at all. The column of flame appeared in front of Naruto. Once the fire died down, 4 lookalikes were left standing in front of them with different expressions ranging from rage to happiness. Hinata's heart skipped a beat when she saw 2 Naruto, a female version of Naruto and an infant Naruto. In her mind, she believed that one of them was Naruto and the others were his clones. Her eyes went to each eyes, taking notice to the different appearances. The first one, currently glaring at her, had red streaks in his hair, blue slitted eyes, clawed hands, and an all-around feral appearance. The aura around him held no compassion, but held only hatred in them. His eyes reminded her of Sasuke. His outfit consists of a white cloak that is split in 4 sections near his waist. The one next to him was a female with a mischief grin she recognized when Naruto pulled pranks. She looked like Naruto's sexy, even down to the whiskers. Her outfit consists of a backless black sleeveless undershirt, an orange overshirt with 2 white straps on each shoulder, a large beige sash around her waist, and black stretch pants with a pair of lightweight brown colored shoes. The third one was the one she guessed to be Naruto if his aura, smile, and sparkling blue eyes were to go by. Despite looking slightly older, he still hadn't changed much. His outfit remained the same as well. The fourth one, being the infant, had a face of disgust, as if he smelled something foul. A female nin went over knowing he needed a change. When she got close to him, her eyes watered up, but the sheer cuteness helped her get over the smell. She turned towards the castle and went away to change him. Without warning, she ran towards the third Naruto as tears streamed down her eyes. Naruto watched as she ran towards his ex-clone and hugged him. The ex-clone looked at him with confusion until Hinata started speaking. Naruto-kun, I missed you so much. She continued, crying in his chest as an idea formed in Naruto's head. He used the mental communication he had with him. From now on, you're going to be Naruto and I'm going to be Minato. The brooder will be Arashi, the girl will be Naruko, and the baby will be Jin. We will all be considered siblings from now on, with me being the elder brother. Arashi will come after me, then Naruto, Naruko, and finally Jin. Not only will the Flashmaster's secret remain a secret, but we'll be able to slowly bait Akatsuki and kill them. Any rejection Arashi was about to voice went away when he heard the word killing. A cruel smile appeared on his face at the thought of killing many lives to satisfy his bloodlust. It was then he realized where the new Minato was going with this. Akatsuki was still searching for Naruto, who was hidden. If a Naruto does appear, then they would be able to set traps for the Akatsuki members and eliminate them slowly. He could also see a little personal revenge towards Konoha. If word of Naruto being here spreads, any place Naruto helped in the past will want an alliance, meaning Snow Spring Country, Wave Country, Takigakure, and other villages. Once they found out why Naruto was in Nashiko, they would cut ties with Konoha, leaving them to suffer. New reference from now on. Tell me what you think of this idea. Not only does Hinata not get paired with the real Naruto, but the story remains a Naruto-Shizuka pairing, considering the real Naruto isn't dating Hinata. As requested by several others, Hinata won't be paired with the real Naruto, but rather an ex-clone that replicates a few things from Naruto personality-wise. I hope this is considered new or something rare. Real Naruto Minato Namikaze, Arc Naruto Arashi Namikaze, Bud Naruto Namikaze, Female Naruto Naruko Namikaze, Baby Naruto Jin Namikaze. Minato watched a scene with a bored facial expression as Naruto comforts Hinata. The new Naruto was created based on his positive personality traits. He was basically him when he was in Konoha. Arashi was his negative personality trait, plus he was also the opposite of Naruto. He wanted nothing but blood and violence no matter what. He also inherited any hate he had for Konoha for his treatment over the years he stayed at Konoha. Jin was his innocence, hence the reason why he was in a child form. Naruko was balanced from good and bad parts of him with a few other things mixed in the process. Despite their different personality traits, all of them were evenly matched against each other. They had all the abilities and shinobi-based knowledge of Minato. Arashi sneered at the Hyuga girl in front of him. She was a Konoha nin, and he hated them with a passion. What are you doing? She's a Konoha nin, and thus an enemy to us. We need to get rid of her quickly or else she'll get us killed. Hinata froze when she heard the threat towards her. Hey, Hinata-chan isn't like that, team. Why don't you glare at an innocent bug jerk? Naruto stuck his tongue out at the dark version of the original. Arashi continued glaring at the Hyuga girl as Naruto picked her up and walked away with her. Arashi turned his attention to find Minato looking at him with amusement. I bet you're enjoying this, Aniki, but it's not funny. Arashi stormed off in anger while Naruko went off in search of a hot spa. An nin appeared with Jin and placed him in Minato's arms before taking off again. Minato was wondering why she left in a hurry until he felt steam hit his face. He looked down to find Jin trying to burn him with fire, but only managed to produce steam. Stop that, Jin, or no ramen. Jin stopped when no ramen was mentioned, earning a sweet drop from Minato. So this is one of your ex-clones, he's surely a cute Minato-kun. I wonder if that's what our children will look like. Shizuka went over to Jin and pinched his cheeks. Arashi told me about the name switch up. I believe your sins will need to know about your information update. I also need to think of future baby names since you took Minato. Anyway, I noticed the new Naruto showing Hinata around. He doesn't seem to know anything about her, yet she hasn't noticed. To him, he's meeting a very cute girl, and to her it's regrouping with an old friend. I could tell how much she loved you, but now it's your copy. She giggled at how funny it sounds. Naruto allowed a smile to appear on his lips as well. Well, if you put it that way, it does sound funny. I guess he inherited my charms as well, but let's get back to the issue. I'm sure Kiri will have a meeting soon about the war. We need to prepare to attack at any moment, plus help Kiri increase their sensory. By doing so, we'll be able to extend our senses over water country more. At this rate, we'll be able to detect anyone entering the country or close to our country. Naruto carried Jin back to the castle with his wife in tow. He would allow himself to relax before Nashiko went to war. Kumo, Breakage-sama, we have received news about the abduction of Hinata Hyuga from our returning group. Hinata Hyuga has been captured, sir. We have a clear view of the ship and they do contain a Hyuga member just as you wanted. What will be your next course of action, sir? Allow the smile to appear on his face. He would finally get to create the Hyuga clan in Kumo through the use of Hinata's body. He had several ideas involving the usage of Kumo's weapon being the Jinchuriki of the eight-tailed beast B. The power of a tailed beast and the Byakugan would make Kumo unbeatable. His power along with that would be something amazing. He thought about it more until an idea formed in his mind. He could take her eyes for personal usage and impregnate the Hyuga girl over and over. She wouldn't be able to do anything at all. Summon B and tell him to meet me at the docks. Also call Derry and C and send them to the docks immediately. With their abilities, we will gain a powerful Hyuga clan. Now let's go claim my prize. Mabui shuddered when she saw the lust in his eyes. The Raikage, like his father before him, was a very greedy slob that she was forced to serve. She wanted to leave the village so badly, but he always kept a close eye on her. She silently wished he was dead before he began using her body for his own pleasure. He already showed how ruthless he was when he raped Yujito, Kumo's sex kitten, and the Jinchuriki of the two-tailed beast. Yujito and B were nothing but weapons to Kumo, and that was how they were treated. She felt bad for how they were treated, but there wasn't much she could do to help them. As long as A was alive, the seals placed on them would continue controlling their lives. Mabui shook her head of negative thoughts and summoned his son Dari and his right-hand man C. They were just as vile as the Raikage, but she never said anything out of fear. They were known to do horrible things to women as well. Once she did just that, she went towards B to tell him what the Raikage told her. As soon as she reached his home, a large explosion went off, taking out the entire docks and several ships. She stopped and turned around to see the fire blazing from such a distance as alarms went off. The door she was about to knock on soon exploded, revealing B and Yujito both talking about freedom. At first she was confused until she started puzzling things together. The Raikage went down to the docks where the Hyuga girl was, as well as his son and right-hand man. An explosion went off, and a large one at that. B and Yujito mentioned freedom, which was impossible unless the seal was removed or the connection to the Raikage ended, meaning the Raikage was dead. Her heart raced at the thought of him being dead. If he was indeed dead, then she needed to take advantage of the situation. She ran home to pack her things, then left the village as fast as she could. She didn't care where she was going, as long as it was far away from Kumo. Maybe joining a neutral village would be a good idea. A good one would be Nashiko, since it was supposed to be an all-female village. She wouldn't have to worry about sexual harassment at the hands of men. Little did she know that B and Yujito had plans to go there as well. Konoha, so you believe the Flashmaster is Naruto Uzumaki? Kiba nodded his head, indicating that was what he believed. You also said he called Kyuubi to fight for him before joining the fight as well. Kiba nodded his head once again, then added an input. I didn't smell any fox-related scent coming from his body, plus the scent I was so used to, which came from Kyuubi himself. Tsunade turned to Kurenai with a serious facial expression. The mere thought of Kyuubi escaping a powerful seal put her on the edge, as well as the others present. I want you to explain what happened on your mission, so everyone's on the same page here. I'll read the reports for details later, so don't bother. Kurenai allowed her mind to drift back to the incident as she began her tale. Our journey to Hot Spring Country was a simple one. We entered the town to look for our client. Once the client saw us, he motioned for the ambush to begin, resulting in us being forced to fight back. We managed to bring the fight away from the village to avoid unnecessary deaths. More nins showed up and outnumbered us completely. I tried to call in a retreat, but one of them managed to get the drop on Hinata. They took off once they had her, while Iwa nins helped the few escape. One of the Iwa nins showed up and attacked Kiba, but Naruto appeared and saved his life. Kyuubi showed up a few minutes later and slaughtered the Iwa and Kumo nins. He offered the Kiri nins a ride home, then ran across water. I'm not sure about anything else. The council members were shocked about the recent events that occurred. Tsunade turned to the council members to give them a piece of her mind. Not only did you banish someone that gained a status similar to our Yondaime Hokage, but said person gained control over Kyuubi as well. We lost a powerful shinobi because none of you were willing to look past Kyuubi. There's also the fact that Naruto is in charge of his own village, so he won't want to come back here to rejoin us. He doesn't want an alliance between us because Haruno-san opened her mouth and angered him. The only reason why we're able to stay alive is because of the allies we gained from Naruto before his banishment. What do you think will happen when they find out what happened to him? We'll lose our allies and Konoha will be destroyed. When that time does come around, where will you go when many people hate not only Konoha, but many of the clans that reside in Konoha? Let's not forget that your status won't mean anything at all. A civilian council member scoffed at her words. Konoha is the best village ever, and we'll find a way to pull through somehow. You just want Konoha to fall so we could suffer for banishing Naruto, which I'll admit was very stupid of us. We still could pull through this if you allow Danzo to bring back Root. Tsunade thought about it for a while. Fine, I'm stepping down, and naming you Hokage gives you control over everyone except of course. You will also be able to do whatever you want, including reactivating Root. I'll move over to the hospital full-time to prevent deaths. She tossed a hat towards him, then stormed off, not caring anymore. Danzo sighed sadly, as this wasn't what he was expecting. He didn't want to take the position yet, but he had no choice. He turned to see Kaharu and Homura leaving the room and stopped them. Wait, I'll need your help, Kaharu-san and Homura-san. You two are the only ones of Konoha that have lived through several wars alongside me. We'll need to work together to ensure that Konoha survives. Also, we need to work on Root for any improvements right now. We have a few things we'll have to take care of right now. I believe calling the Akatsuki the best idea right now will be the best choice to eliminate Kumo, Iwa, and Odo. Iwa has two-tailed beasts, as well as Kumo. If we tell Akatsuki who they are, we'll be able to weaken two countries easily without paying too much. While they're recovering, we'll strike the villages quick and hard. Tsunade will be able to keep our nins alive, as well as Shizune, so we'll be okay. Both Homura and Kaheru saw the logic in his plan. What would you do when Akatsuki acquire too many tailed beasts? Homura didn't like the idea of the terrorist organization getting too much power. We'll deal with them before that happens. Tailed beasts are kept hidden in villages, so it'll be hard to find them. We'll regain our strength by then, so crushing them won't be too hard for us. With that being said, the two elders and the new Hokage went to plan things out. Thanks for watching my video, and make sure to check out the author of this fanfic, link is in the description. See you next time, till then sayonara.